Well, welcome. This is Peers on Demand, and this is Rocky Romero. And it's my pleasure today to introduce you to Gary Samoluk. Gary, welcome, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Rocky. Great to be with you today. Appreciate the opportunity to sit in front of you and talk about our company.
Well, we do want to know, and I want to know a lot more about your company. So I'm wondering if you could share a little bit about yourself and your business.
Sure. My background is I'm a serial software entrepreneur, and I've worked in a lot of different domains in terms of technology, generally bleeding edge technology, where we're ahead of the curve of what's going on within an industry. Everything from early telecommunication systems to systems integration before it existed, and even software as a service before the internet existed. So what we're doing today is working in the cloud with a software as a solution to businesses that we're pretty excited about.
Wonderful. So I'm curious then, you must have ideal clients that you love to work with. Who's an ideal connection, ideal client, or ideal partner that you like to be able to connect with?
We like to work with a variety of companies, anywhere from companies from 5 million in sales all the way up to $1 billion. But we also look at various market segments such as the private equity group, private investment banking, M&A advisors. Those are typically our client that we focus on. What we try and do is we view it within the marketplace itself that financial data is misunderstood, both within corporate America, but also within the private equity and investment arena. And the reason why we say that is typically people look at their financial balance sheets. They might run some financial ratios, and they'll take a look and see what are our margins, what's our profits, our sales growing, sales declining, that kind of thing. But we do is we take a look at it from another perspective, from an operational point of view. But also what we do is we take a look and say, how are you comparing, and do you really understand what performance is? And I kind of like to use the analogy of baseball. If you look at baseball for about 70 years, Babe Ruth and Roger Romero had the record in terms of the most number of home runs hit within a season. And every year, long ball hitters would start the baseball season in April saying, here's my goal. I want to hit 60 or 61 home runs. And then throughout the year, what they did is they followed their record and say, well, how many home runs have I hit so far? How many do I have to go in terms of matching or beating that record? We look at business from the same way. Throughout the year, a company is measuring their financial performance month over month. But the thing that's really missing is benchmarking in terms of how is the best companies in our industry performing, and how big a gap is there between me and their performance, and what do I need to do to close that gap? And that's what we provide. Is we have a financial database and the analytical tools that allow you to benchmark your company against your competition on an apples to apples basis. So you're looking at the same size companies, and from there you can tell exactly what are the very best companies in the industries. How are they performing? What do they actually look like? And how do I compare against them? And then where do I need to improve in order to match that performance? So it's a great way of really helping a company better understand what does true financial performance look like, how do I compare, and what do I need to do to get there?
Absolutely.
Now, one of our
every business is
exactly
thinking about that. Go ahead.
And when we look at companies and who our client base is, we had a great example that we worked with a private equity company, which had millions of dollars they wanted to invest in buying not only one company, but several companies. And they were looking at a company in the manufacturing sector, and they're pretty excited about the company had great numbers, but they wanted to know more. So what we did is we took the company's financials and we benchmarked it against their industry. Now, what we found was pretty interesting. First of all, we found from a sales point of view, they are already operating at the top 5% of their industry. So then the question came up, how big was the industry growing, and was there really room for them to grow? or would they have to look at growth in other ways? So in looking further at the vertical market within the company industry, what we found is on the bottom side, it was very, very fragmented, a lot of small companies. So one way for this company to grow from a strategy point of view was through acquisition of smaller companies, either buying up market share or expanding their product offering. What we also then took a look is we looked at what is the valuation of this company. Of course, every business owner has an idea of what their valuation is, and it's always a lot higher than what the market says it is. But when we did benchmarking, again, we were able to compare them against their peers, same size companies. And what we found is the company asking price was overvalued compared to the industry. So from a private equity point of view, with this kind of information, they could take a look and say, what are we buying? Is there really opportunities for us to really grow the business? And are we buying it at the right price? In this particular case, what they found is they decided to pass on the deal. The valuation was too high. There wasn't a big enough opportunity for them to really grow unless they decided to grow by acquisitions, either within or outside the industry. So it was a good analysis for them to have a better feel and making a better informed decision based on having informative analytics that they didn't have access to before.
Exactly. And every business, of course, wants to use analytics. They want to have performance and they want to measure those performance. And I think the value that you bring to a business is tremendous, whether they want to get ahead in their business or sell their business or simply know what the worth or the value is of that. So I'm curious then, Gary, I wonder if someone wants to get a hold of you, how can they reach you?
They can reach me through LinkedIn as well as our website, where we have email address and telephone contact information. And we'd be glad to sit down and talk with someone. We can run through a quick demo of what our services are like, as well as give them an example of how our tools can be very easy to use. It's very intuitive. The good part is you don't have to be a CPA or an accountant to understand what our tools are and how to effectively use it, get the most out of it, and help a company move forward in better understanding what do they need to do internally to improve the financial performance of the company, whether it's looking at it from a liquidity point of view, cash flow. They want to take a look, can I continue to grow based on my current capitalization, or do I need to start looking for outside capital, whether it's in the form of debt or equity? Or how do I prepare for even an exit strategy in, say, 3 to 5 years and get the valuation that I'd like to get at that period of time?
Exactly. So, Gary,